Good evening. The 80-20 rule is a prioritization tactic where you identify the 20% of the tasks you are doing that yield you 80% of the results. The ratio could be different, like 10% of things resulting in 90% of the outcomes, 20% resulting in 50, etc., and outlines the most time-efficient tasks that you can undertake. The 80-20 rule is everywhere in life. Let me give you an example. Look at my channel analytics. There are 11,800 views in total on this channel of all time. And as of recording this video, I've released 118 videos. So naturally you would think that each video would take up about 0.8% of the total views of my channel. Well, that's where you're wrong. Around 20% of my total channel views have come from one video, the one where I talked about autism and masculinity. That video has 2,300 views. God, I released that 9 months ago now. It really is the black swan of this YouTube channel. Notice how in this instance, the 1% of videos, one video out of 118 in total, has yielded over 20% of the channel's total views. That's the 80-20 rule in effect. And if you take the top 10 most viewed videos on my channel, it would probably equate to over 50% of the channel's total views. This is the 80-20 rule in practice, and it applies to most situations in life. Just like income, the top 1% of earners in the world earn over 80% of the world's income, I believe. Importantly, and this is where I relate it to autism and my struggles with it, the 80-20 rule applies to anyone who's trying to overcome a challenge, and that includes autistic people like me. The rule applies to social situations, and there are a few things that you can do if you are an autistic person like me to overcome your social difficulties and get 80% of the way there, if not 90, 95, 99% of overcoming your social difficulties. So the 20% of tasks, roughly speaking, that you can do to overcome your social difficulties by 80% include changing your environment and taking the initiative in conversation. This is what I did when I was 16 years old. I saw that people were flocking to the park, and I didn't really have a friend group at that point yet. So I decided to ride my bike in, crash in, say, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Sit down, listen to others, introduce myself if I'd never met them before, and then join in the conversational flow state. Just be there, chill. I knew a few guys in there already. That always helps. You can't just go into a completely random place. So it's situational, we've established that. But the important thing is, you need to step out of the old environment which kept you in a state of social difficulty, where you were basically holding yourself back from your social potential. You want to go from the person who has social difficulties to the socially fluid and adaptable person who has no problem initiating a conversation with anyone, striking it off well with anyone you come by, and becoming a generally more outgoing person who is not judged for their shyness, any part of their autism, anxiety, and therefore you start to feel a lot more at peace within yourself now that you know no one's going to judge you. So the first step you need to take is changing your environment. When I was younger, that meant going to the park, tagging along with a friend, and then hitting up some of the friendship groups that he was friends with. I had this popular friend, he was really good at introducing me to people. And that way you can expand your network. Listen, don't always dominate the conversation with the people you're talking to, especially if you're a young man like me. I'm much more of a listener, and being a listener is part of my personality, it's a part of my autism. I prefer to listen and not speak. Figure out if you're a listener or a speaker, and if you are a listener, add in a few bits of conversation here and there to make the interaction feel more human and that you're not just a spy extracting information from them. And if you're more of a speaker, don't speak to the point where they get annoyed at your presence. It can be really easy to fall in that trap, but you have to identify via their body language whether they want to listen to you or not, because some people are too polite to tell you that. They just want you to shut up. So find out if you're more of a talker or a listener. Use that to your advantage in the social situation. If the person looks cool and they're more of a listener, for example, a guy in my maths class called James, I initiated the conversation with him because he was super quiet. He's a cool guy. Like, I spoke to him about whatever video games he had on Steam, and we just struck it off. We just thought, wow, we're pretty cool people. He may have autism like me, I don't know. But afterwards, he moved into university the year after I did, after he took a gap year, and he asked me questions on how to involve himself in the social life. And I told him, okay, the most important thing is the 80-20 rule coming into effect again. Join a society. That literally instantly solves 50% or more of the problem of finding a friendship group to join. And also, if the society is in an interest you're more passionate about, then you're more likely to stay and become closer friends with the members who are already in it. Don't you see now how powerful it is to just do one task in that chosen field, in this case overcoming your social difficulties and making friends, can do for you in life? It's incredible. You must realise this. And so James joined a society, and through his Instagram stories, it looks like he's having a blast, and he solved the problem of not having friends coming into uni. So that's some advice for you people who are going to university this year or in the future. Join a society. Using this first principle approach, let's say, I have made it my mission to help people with autism to overcome their social difficulties, just like I have done in the 18 years since I have been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. And so that's why I have a product where I help people with autism or think they have autism to overcome their social difficulties. With my one-to-one help and meeting other guys who are trying to overcome their social difficulties, I will guarantee you that you will be socially awkward no more. Please click the link in the description and watch the video in there to learn more about my service. So your key takeaway is, if you want to overcome your social difficulties and gain friends, change your environment by joining a new social circle or event, or going to a new place in your neighborhood where people hang out, and initiate a conversation with someone there who has similar interests to you, or get your friend to introduce you to some of their mutual friends and see if you strike it off. I hope my advice helped you today, and if you have social difficulties, I know those 2 steps will take you very far. Thank you very much for listening. Share your experiences with overcoming your social difficulties in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.